Hello everyone, Croatia.TheMan here. It's time to predict the World Cup qualifying in 2022 for all of Europe's groups, as they get started in a few days' time. Now bear with me here because I have already recorded this video once, but unfortunately my microphone working correctly is a luck of the draw. It is honestly just a roll of the dice, and last time it did not work very well. This time it's much better, however. So, you probably know the way it works, you probably know your groups. There are 10 groups in Europe's qualifying campaign for the World Cup. There are 5 groups, Group A to E, which contain 5 teams, and another 5 groups, F to J, which contain 6 teams. The first place team in each group goes directly to the World Cup, while the second place team goes into the second phase, which I'll explain later. To try and avoid this video being very long, I will try and go through the groups as quickly as possible, but still giving detail as to what my predictions actually are. Once again, this isn't what I want to happen, this is simply what I believe will happen, and what I personally predict will happen. So, let's get into it. Starting us off in Group A, we have Portugal, Serbia, the Republic of Ireland, Luxembourg, and Azerbaijan. It is very tough to say that Portugal will not be first in this group. As I'm part Serbian, I would obviously love if Serbia dominated this group and came first. However, I definitely think Serbia will be able to snatch a point or maybe all 3 in Belgrade. But I think Portugal, for the most part, you can't say many bad things about Portugal at the moment. So I think it is between Portugal and Serbia for the first place, but I do think that it will most likely be Portugal. And then the other 3 nations of the Republic of Ireland, Luxembourg, Azerbaijan. I believe that Serbia's first game is against the Republic of Ireland. I'm not exactly sure whether it's in Dublin or in Belgrade, but nonetheless, I think the Republic of Ireland are slowly taking baby steps and improving, but I believe that they will most likely lose to Serbia again, like they did in the last qualifying campaign for the World Cup back in for the 2018 World Cup. And of course, Luxembourg are actually very strong for such a small nation, and Azerbaijan are probably going to finish last, but I do see them causing at least 1 or 2 upsets in this group. So, in Group A, I predict Portugal comes first, Serbia second, the Republic of Ireland third, Luxembourg fourth, Azerbaijan fifth. I know, wacky prediction. It's exactly as it's laid out. Obviously, best of luck to Serbia. Srećno Orlovi. I wish you all the best. Moving on to Group B, we have Spain, Sweden, Greece, Georgia, and Kosovo. Now, before anyone gets angry about Kosovo or whatever, you do not need to be an independent nation to have your own national football team. Northern Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, Gibraltar, the Faroe Islands, you do not need to be an independent nation to have your own team. So whatever you think of Kosovo, it doesn't matter if they have a team. They do not need to be their own nation to have one. I'm quite literally just following what it says. Anyway, about Group B, it is really hard to put anything past Spain. They've fallen obviously from their 2008-2012 form, but they are still really good. I think Spain will most likely come first in this group. I think Sweden may be able to cause a little upset, but I don't think it's going to be enough to come any more than second. Greece, I believe, will be third, and I'm predicting Kosovo fourth and Georgia fifth. Georgia are not as weak of side as you may think, but I know Kosovo has some good attacking power, which may cause problems. Now on to Group C. We have Italy, Switzerland, Northern Ireland, Bulgaria, and Lithuania. Italy and Switzerland obviously also play each other in the UEFA Euro 2020 or 2021 now, so they will know each other very well when these 2 sides clash. I'm going to start from the bottom for this group. I do believe Lithuania will probably be last. Lithuania is great at basketball. Football, however, unfortunately for them, not so much. Bulgaria fourth. However, I don't think that Bulgaria or Lithuania will be able to cause too many upsets. Northern Ireland may be able to snatch a point here and there, but however, I do believe it will be Italy first, Switzerland second, Northern Ireland third, Bulgaria fourth, and Lithuania fifth. Once again, exactly as it's laid out currently. Over to Group D with the current World Cup champions, France. Joining France are Ukraine, Finland, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Kazakhstan. Let's get out of the way. Kazakhstan fifth. Okay. No offense to Kazakhstan, but let's be serious. Let's be serious. They beat Scotland that 3-0 that one game, but that's all I can really remember from them. Apart from that, it's very hard to put anything past France here because they have so much squad depth and such talented players that I honestly think that they will be first. They might crash out of the group stage in the actual World Cup because of the, you know, the champions curse that still goes on to this day. Who knows? But I don't think that they'll struggle with their qualifying campaign. However, this is not a very easy group. Ukraine obviously has been in incredible form as of recently and have been getting increasingly better and better. I think they'll come second. Bosnia and Herzegovina and Finland. I'm very interested and very excited to see Finland at their first ever Euros this summer. See what they do. Bosnia and Herzegovina, obviously I'm rooting for you as well. I hope you get first, but unfortunately I have to predict France first, Ukraine second, Bosnia and Herzegovina third, Finland fourth, Kazakhstan fifth. Once again, best of luck to Bosnia. Moving on, however, to Group E, we have Belgium, Wales, the Czech Republic, Belarus, and Estonia. Getting it out of the way, I do believe Belarus and Estonia will be 4th and 5th as it is laid out. I don't think that they're going to be able to do much. They're not horrible teams, but I just think that the three above them are just a good bit ahead. Belgium, I honestly think if there's going to be one team that's going to get all straight 8 wins, it is going to be Belgium. They're first. No question about it. So, the battle for second is what I'm really interested here. The Czech Republic have been increasingly good form, and Wales haven't been too bad. They have dropped off a little bit, however. I personally think it is going to be Belgium first, the Czech Republic second, Wales third, Belarus fourth, and Estonia fifth. But that second place battle between Wales and the Czech Republic really could go either way. Moving on now, however, to Group F. Our first group with 6 teams, where we have Denmark, Austria, Scotland, Israel, the Faroe Islands, and Moldova. I do believe that Denmark are the strongest nation in this group, obviously as they were in pot 1 anyway. Austria isn't too far off, however, the gap between Austria and Scotland I believe is smaller than the gap between Denmark and Austria. Israel, a pretty quality side, but not at the level, unfortunately for them, of Denmark or Austria. The Faroe Islands can always prove a little good upset. Moldova may be able to prove an upset against the Faroe Islands, but that's probably about it. So I do believe that this group is going to be, once again, exactly the way it is laid out. Denmark first, Austria second, Scotland third, Israel fourth, the Faroe Islands fifth, and Moldova sixth. Moving on now, however, to Group G, where we have the Netherlands, Turkey, Norway, Montenegro, Latvia, and Gibraltar. I personally thought that under Ronald Koeman, the Netherlands were going to win the Euros. I'm still going to root for them. I still like them. I still think they're a great team. However, ever since the managerial change, they've been going a little south. I still think that they're absolutely the strongest team in this group, albeit Turkey is very strong as well in recent times. Norway now have Erling Haaland, but I do not think that one really strong player is enough to win this group and beat the Dutch and the Turkish. I think he is definitely an asset, a great asset for Norway, but I don't think it's enough. This, after all, is a team game. Then, of course, we also have Montenegro. Once again, I am really rooting for Montenegro here. I hope that somehow they pull off a miracle and beat the Dutch, the Turkish, the Norwegians, but let's be serious here. They're unfortunately not at that level. I do think they can prove an upset, especially against maybe Norway, but I don't think that they will be, unfortunately, doing much in this group. It is quite a tough group. Then, of course, we have Latvia and Gibraltar. Latvia, one of the lowest ranked nations that is not a microstate. And for that reason only, I remember watching the Republic of Ireland play Gibraltar, and Ireland barely beat them 1-0. So for that reason and that reason only, I'm going to put Gibraltar ahead. So Group G ends Netherlands first, Turkey second, Norway third, Montenegro fourth, unfortunately, but I'm rooting for you, Crna Gora, Gibraltar fifth, and Latvia sixth. Now, however, we are on to Group H, Croatia's group. In Croatia's group, while watching this draw, it was incredibly funny to see how the first 4 countries were all Slavic and had the pan-Slavic colors, until, of course, the 2 outsiders of the 2 Mediterranean island nations of Cyprus and Malta. In this group, we have Croatia, Slovakia, Russia, Slovenia, Cyprus, and Malta. I do think that, albeit Croatia have fallen off the glory a little bit, I do still think we should be firm favorites in this group. However, this is not an easy group whatsoever. I honestly, personally, was gonna predict that Russia would come second in this group, but I remembered that Russia have a temporary ban in which they cannot represent their own nation, they cannot represent their flag or play the national anthem or represent Russia as a whole. So I'm thinking that might be a little less motivation for the Russians, in which I'm going to give the edge to Slovakia. Obviously, Croatia had fairly easy games against Slovakia, but I do not think that they are as weak as those games portrayed. Slovenia, of course, are northern Slavic neighbors right next door. I wish them the best. I hope they're second, honestly. However, they have one of the, if not the best goalkeeper in the world in Jan Oblak. I personally wish them the best. I know that's not going to be an easy game against Slovenia. All the best to you as well. Then we have Cyprus and Malta. Croatia should beat these two teams very comfortably. But knowing Croatia, Croatia is going to beat Slovakia, Russia, and Slovenia home and away, and then lose to Cyprus and Malta. However, I do think that this group is going to end exactly, once again, as it is laid out currently. Croatia first, Slovakia second, Russia third, Slovenia fourth, Cyprus fifth, and Malta sixth. Slovenia may be able to come third if Russia's ambitions really aren't that high, since they cannot represent their own country. Moving on now to Group I, where we have England, Poland, Hungary, Albania, Andorra, and San Marino. England have actually done insanely well. I still don't think that they are the best team in Europe. I'd currently give that position to France, Portugal, Belgium, and I would have given it to Netherlands as well prior to the manager change. But I do think that they have some really good young talents. Phil Foden, Jack Grealish. I think that they will be insanely tough to beat. However, Poland have Robert Lewandowski, Lewandowski. He's obviously a goal-scoring machine, still kicking for Bayern Munich. Amazing player. If Poland can pick up somehow a good run of form and England gets a few injuries, Poland could prove the upset, but I don't think anyone else in this group will. Hungary, I personally think, very strong team. They were able to beat us in Budapest. I definitely think that they're getting stronger and stronger and could prove an upset maybe in this group. Not an upset to win the group, but I could see something happening. I wouldn't be too surprised. Albania, of course, strong team, not at the level of Hungary, Poland, and certainly not England. Andorra and San Marino, of course, the two microstates fighting it out for 5th and 6th. Once again, another boring prediction in which I think England is first, Poland is second, Hungary third, Albania fourth, Andorra fifth, and San Marino sixth. Moving on, however, to our final group, Group J, where we have the 2014 World Cup winners, Germany, alongside them, Romania, Iceland, North Macedonia, Armenia, and Liechtenstein. Personally, once again, Germany have been in quite good form ever since their disappointing crashing out of the 2018 World Cup, the champion's curse, if you will. But I think they are once again in good form. I think Germany will top this group. However, the most interesting thing I think in this group is the fight for every single place after. Romania, increasingly good squad. Iceland, the biggest underdogs with their only, 300,000 population or something, have been to the last Euros and the World Cup. North Macedonia, of course, Macedonia, or Severna Macedonia as you are now called. I wish, again, you best of luck. And Armenia has proved an upset against Bosnia and Herzegovina in the Euro qualifying campaign, so I know it's possible. And then, of course, you have Liechtenstein. I feel very sorry for them in this group because it is quite a tough group. Personally, I'll put Germany first. I'm not putting anything past Germany. I don't think that anyone can really prove that big of an upset against the Germans here. I think that they'll have a fairly easy qualification. However, though, in second, I'm going to put Iceland. Romania is a strong team, and I think that there'll be it might come down to goal difference. But I think that Iceland are just the kings of underdogs, and I think that they will be able to squeeze out that second place. Romania third, North Macedonia fourth, Armenia fifth, and Liechtenstein sixth. That concludes all the groups from A to J. Looking over my predictions, all the teams in pot 1, to me, are directly qualifying. It makes sense. They're the better teams, so they're in the better pots, and I don't put much past them qualifying unless something really bad happens to them. However, now we go into the second phase, and the second phase is quite difficult to predict, as it is determined by semi-finals and a final divided into 3. 4 teams, of course, in each bracket, and of course that is made by a draw, which we simply do not have yet. It involves the 10 second place teams and 2 of the remaining best Nations League teams. Of course, for this, I'm not going to try and predict what are the 2 remaining Nations League teams, so I'm simply going to take the 10 teams that I've put in second place, which is Serbia, Sweden, Switzerland, Ukraine, Czechia, Austria, Turkey, Slovakia, Poland, and Iceland. I will once again say we don't know the draws. The 3 remaining teams that I have picked may all be in the same semi-final group, same bracket group, and only one of them might be able to qualify. However, I've picked the 3 teams which I think will qualify. Those are Serbia, Turkey, and Poland. There are big cases to be made for each and every one of these teams, especially Switzerland, Ukraine, and Iceland as well, because they have been really good. However, I personally think Serbia, Turkey, and Poland will join the other 10 teams at the World Cup after the second phase. Once again, I will probably predict these when we actually get the actual draw and the actual semi-finals and final. So, to sum it up, the 13 teams that I think will go into FIFA's World Cup 2022 in Qatar are Portugal, Spain, Italy, France, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, Croatia, England, Germany, Serbia, Turkey, and Poland. Thank you guys very much for watching. I've been Croatia the Man. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, do sutra.